I'm so excited to show this stuff to you. Hey, it's Care. Welcome to Montego the Lake. Sometimes in lots lately, I feel like a kid in a candy store. I've recently discovered somebody that I will put a link to her videos below. And you've seen things like assembled like this before. But I think this particular person answers the age-old question of what to do with a junk journal. I think it's the most perfect way to use a junk journal, whether you make it or whether you buy it. And the way it's made is so fast and easy. Unbelievable. I made 2 first night. Made 2. Started doing it second day. Very excited. And of course I want to bring that to you because easy and fun to me make things go to the top of the list of what I want to try. Again, I'll put the link and some snippets from the video at the end of this one, so if you want to skip ahead, by all means, please do. But you'll miss some pretty cool stuff, so don't skip ahead. Of course, I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I am the Krabby Crafter, so just watch, because, you know, a lot goes into these videos for y'all to be skipping through. Anyway, this is a chemistry book from 1957, and I'm not big into chemistry. It doesn't hold the same warm fuzzies that the shorthand book from the 1950s does. But the shorthand book wasn't the right size. This was the exact right size. This is approximately 5.5 by 8.5. And what you need for this project, for the ideal project. Now, the person I'm going to share with you later doesn't care about the size of her journal. She makes things work. Me, Krabby Crafter, I like things easy. I am a lazy crafter. I like to take a 8.5 by 11 letter size piece of paper and fold it in half, and there are my pages. So I like my covers to fit that. I don't want to have to trim off 1/4 of an inch here and 1/4 of an inch there. Trimming, to me, is a waste of time and energy. And if I don't have to do it, I'm not gonna do it. So book covers that are 9 by 6 are ideal. 9 by 8.5 by 5.5 works too, as long as your papers, once they are folded in half, fit into your cover. The next thing that you do is gut the book. This was a nice thick one. The reason I got it was for these beautiful formulas and equations and illustrations for Marguerite Miller type collage work. This stuff adds so much, along with the postage and the grunge and whatnot. It's very different, so this was a beautiful find, but I didn't need it to be in its cover in order for it to do its job. So I get to use the cover for this beautiful project. Now, I mentioned this on a previous video. This is a kit. I'll put the person's name up top. I think it's wonderful because it has the look of denim, which to me is a fairly modern kind of a thing. It's denim color. Actually, the reason I got it because I was looking for gray, and this kit has gray pages in it as well. And when I printed it off, they were all blue. Imagine that. It says right in the description and the title, gray and blue. But I missed the blue part. But the denim is so fun. Modern denim look and feel and color with these old-fashioned vintage patterns on it. I just love the kit. I will link that below, of course. I also glued in some cardboard pieces into my spine. I just took the back of a old notebook, the chipboard, and didn't measure except by sight, and I put it up to here, and I kind of drew how wide I needed it to be and how long I needed it to be, and cut it to fit into that spine because I wanted to reinforce that spine, because once you've got a book, it gets pretty flimsy on you. So I did put a reinforcement piece of cardboard in there. You can see it right there. Then I glued some pages in and grunged it all up. Then I took embroidery floss, all 6 strands, and wrapped it around. Now, this particular one, I had 2 colors. I don't even know if it'll show up here, but I had 2 colors of gray, and they both went, and so I decided to double it. So I have 6. I have places for 6 signatures, because you just take your pages and loop them through. Now, this is not new. I've seen a lot of people do this, but it makes it so much easier to pull your pages out and work on them flat and then put them in. And it allows you to rearrange. Let's say you want that signature first. If it's sewn in with a 3-hole pamphlet stitch, you're stuck with the order that it's in, and you have to work with those pages in the book. However, if you do it this way, you can rearrange the pages all you want. You can leave it this way, or once you're completely done with the journal, you can go ahead and sew them in with a pamphlet stitch to make it that much more permanent if you choose. Choices are beautiful, but you don't have to, because I do believe this will be every bit as strong as a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Now, I couldn't decide which color I wanted, the light gray or the dark gray, so I used both. So technically, if I wanted to, I could have 12 places to put things. I have 12 different strings here because I put them together and wound them 6 times. Times 2 means I have 12 options if I need. I don't know that I will. I grunged up the pages with Tim Holt's vintage photo in my dauber. I went around and collected all kinds of things that I thought would go in. Some bags, an image I cut out of a magazine, some envelopes, grunged up, different bag, a coffee dyed envelope, a blue envelope that I'd gotten in the mail, and I just glued remnants left over from here onto here. And I've been sticking things in here. I went to my index card collection and collected index cards of like colors, and some postage, and just all kinds of things. I'm not sure I'm going to keep this black and white page in here. I may pull that out, but right now it's working. It's holding notebook paper and scraps. I found a beautiful napkin I thought would go. I have this old piece of a doily that I coffee dyed, and I'm going to cut up and use for tabs. This will be my first entry. First thing I saw when I let my beastlies out in the morning, glimpse of a gorgeous red cardinal in against the bleak gray sky and the leafless trees and the white of the fresh snow that we had just gotten. And it was bitterly cold that day, and he was just gorgeous to behold. And so I went to my Audubon book and I pulled out and then I journaled about it on this card. So I've already started. Same thing here. It was so cold. I made hot chicken soup, started journaling about that. So I collected things that will go in this book, and I've just sort of been chucking them in here. I had done some prints with corrugated cardboard and coffee. The cardboard had paint on it from a gel plate session earlier, and the coffee sort of reactivated that paint. Maybe it was ink. It could have been from an ink stamper, but I just love the patterns that corrugated cardboard made. It goes perfectly with the color scheme that clearly I'm going for now. Here are some more pages of that beautiful kit. And here, and some bright ones. Now, side note, you'll notice that I've got beautiful coffee dyed blue on the back. For me, nothing ruins the illusion of a nice vintage book faster than coming across a stark white page. All this creamy yumminess, to flip a page, to flip a vintage page to bright white, just shatters the illusion of a nice vintage book. And so what I've done is I had lots of coffee dyed paper, but it won't go through my jet printer. I don't have a laser printer, so I can't print my kits and then coffee dye them. My coffee dye will look great, but it'll ruin my prints because it's not stable once it gets wet, rather than a laser printer, which are stable. You can get a laser printer print wet and it won't go anywhere. It's set. Regular printers are not. So I can't run my coffee dyed paper through my printer. I can't print my kit and then coffee dye it. What I can do is use my coffee dyed digikit. I made a coffee dyed digikit not too long ago because somebody, might not have the time, the space, the energy, or the know-how to coffee dye paper because it takes some time, it takes some space. I made it easier. And for myself, which most of my digikits are for myself, I needed to be able to print that coffee dye onto the backs of my pages because I like the variety of digikit, coffee. dyed, digikit print, or painty page, or stamped page, digikit coffee dyed. I like the variety, but I didn't want just the coffee dyed. So I went and I made what I call iced coffee. So if you have a grungy blue or gray project and you'd like some coffee dyed pages on the back, I made iced coffee. And I'm going to throw a picture up here because that, of course, got me to thinking of all the different flavors of coffee. And so now I have on my Etsy store something called the Coffee Collection. And it's just coffee dyed papers with a hint of color. Pumpkin spice, Irish cream, dark forest, which is got a little bit deeper browns and some dark greens in it. Peppermint sweetheart, kind of a pinkish cast. I just think they're so much fun, and I love that I have now lots and lots of options for my projects that will go beautifully, that will color coordinate rather than just plain old coffee dyed. Now, there is nothing wrong with putting a coffee dyed piece of paper in here. It will go lovely as well. But another problem that I have with honest to goodness coffee dyed paper is it gets to be kind of difficult to write on. There's a lot of texture to paper that has gotten wet and been dried, where the faux coffee dyed, the digital coffee dyed, is pristine. You may see some wrinkles, but there aren't any on the page, so it makes it very easy to write on. I do a lot of writing in my journals, and so that's important to me. So if I do add, and I'm sure I will, add some coffee dyed, genuine coffee dyed papers to my signatures, those will probably be mostly visual, or I will put big pockets on so that I can insert a journal card that I was able to easily write on. So these coffee dyed pages with all the wrinkles and the yumminess will be mostly visual. You know, I overthink everything I ever do, so if this is like way too much for you, welcome to my nightmare. Because that's how I do things. I cannot wait to get started on this book. I also gathered up a piece of shopping bag that I think will add some good things to this. Some deli bags. These are from Happy Mail from the lovely Donna. I think that will make a great addition to this project. You know, it just doesn't get better. I might. Oh yeah, I think I'm going to fold this long ways instead of all the other bags are going the other way. And this will have a top pocket. The coffee dyed paper, also the real stuff, has that nice crinkly sound that the digitals don't. So you might want to add real coffee dyed. Vintage graph paper, orange and blue are complementary colors. You might want to have a pop of that in it. Another blue envelope. This will be beautiful once I spray some coffee on it and stain it down a little bit. Right now it looks a little too new for my taste. Some vintage filler paper, some vintage notebook paper with that kind of greenish cast, vintage graph paper. Those are all going to be part of this project as well. And I just have had so much fun gathering all the goodies, and it was so easy to put together. Gut the book, put a piece of cardboard in, and wrap your string, and you're ready to go. I am going to have to do some TLC. I got a little carried away with my razor, as I tend to do once in a while. But that's an easy fix. I'm not worried about that at all. It just adds to the beauty of the project. Another thing that I did for this project is I took my digital kit up to Canva, and I made this so that I can tear out. That happened on a Thursday. So I'm going to glue that on. I have little dates. I have all the months. And they're on different backgrounds, you know, because I don't want every single date and time to look the same. They're different fonts because I don't want everything to look the same. But I'll pick the date. I think it was February 1st. I'm going to tear that out or cut that out so that I have plenty. I don't know. This is not going to be a January journal. Obviously, duh, it's already February. Buckle up. This year's going to go by fast. It's not going to be just a winter journal. It's going to be a blue and brown journal. I don't know how long it's going to last. I may do one a month. I may fill it up before the winter's out. I don't know. But I made enough numbers and dates and whatnot to get me through the year if I need. And then, of course, this is all just goodies for another project, whatever is left over. I made A similar one, this is not my digital kit. I did not create this blue denim kit, so I cannot sell or give that away. So I put a different background on, and I put it up on Patreon for free if you'd like to take advantage of it. It's all vintage, and there's a black and white version, so you can print it on your own digital kits if you're doing a themed project, or you can print it on black and white and it'll go with everything. Print out the vintage one, and it's pretty universal for any vintage project. So that's there free for the taking. You don't have to be a Patreon member to get some of the freebies. Some freebies are just for Patreon members, and some are just free because I like to give stuff away. I was so excited about this, and it was so fast and easy that I did another one. Black cover. I love a nice, clean black cover. It does have 1817 and a torch embossed there. Same size. I think it's a little bit bigger than, in fact, yeah, obviously it's quite a bit bigger cover-wise. And I'm not going to give measurements. I'm not going to measure it in front of you. My measurement is, if I fold a piece of paper in half, does it fit? That's my measurement. Period, the end. What matters is, does the 8.5 by 11 fit? And it does. So I took a whole bunch of beautiful, bright, look at these colors, those astro bright colors that I coffee dyed and showed to you. I saved some out to not coffee dye because they are just beautiful. This is a periwinkle, a forget-me-not, a deep bluish purpley that's, oh, it's so pretty. Pictures from coloring books that I got at either Dollar Tree or a St. Vinny's haul. Some I cut the right size so that they fit like normal pages. Some I cut a different way, and they ended up being smaller and sort of sideways. I may cover that up. I don't know. It might not bother me so much. But so I've got several signatures here ready to go. For this one, I also went around and found some bright papers. This is, I think that, oh, this is an envelope. Well, what fun will that be to stick in there? Just some white notebook paper, napkin. And I wanted to make sure that it was as bright white as possible because, you know, she's a fussy girl. I don't know if I'll put the napkin in because it's pretty creamy comparatively. I may put the napkin in, I may not. It depends on how much and where. If it's next to the white, it won't work. But I have all these beautiful neon index cards that I can use as journal cards and places to, and what fun, what a bright alternative to vintage for a change, to dreary, cold, gray, weathery days, which I adore. I have no problems with dark gray, wintry days. I quite prefer them to sunny ones. This sure is fun and bright and full of energy, and I can't wait to play in both of them. So the black and white numbers that I made, like this, will go here. I didn't print that out. Who knew you were making a video today? I don't know. Who plans? Clearly it's not me. The other thing that I have for this journal, this is all that I have left of this particular rainbow cord. I got this at Meijer. I went back to Meijer to get more, and they don't have it now. They have this, which is beautiful and bright, and it seemed like it should work, but I really like this cord better with the material than this cord, so I'll save this for another project. I ordered this from Amazon because I couldn't find it at Meijer anymore, but this is gonna be the closure. I'm gonna glue it underneath the spine. I'm gonna put it underneath the spine here and make sure that I have enough to wrap around, and that will be the closure. I think it'll be important to get my strings where I want them to be and out of the way, and glue my fabric around them, just on the edges here, so that it doesn't mess around with my spine. That'll cover up the red, the title, and it will cover up. You know, I could take that spine off of there. I kind of wanted it hidden, I guess, because I decided to put it underneath thusly, and I just think it's so much fun. Now, what started all this is a lady named Sue. I believe it's Fichter. I will link her videos below. She just goes by her name on YouTube, and I am telling you what, it is the best answer that I have seen, bar none, about the age-old question of what to do with a junk journal. How do I use a junk journal? There are 1,000,010 answers, and everybody's answer is a little bit different. I love Susan's take on this. It just speaks to junk journals, diary / journal keeping, day by day, noticing things that matter to you. That's an important part of all of this, I think. It gets her crafting a little bit. Maybe not every single day. I'm not sure if she does it every day, but she does a little bit every other day or every couple days. She does a day or two at a time. Phenomenal. I just think it's the best answer to that question, and I cannot wait. In fact, I couldn't wait, so I didn't wait. I just started right away, and I have now these beautiful things to put together and to start tracking things. What do I want to track in each of these? What do I want to keep track of? Now, you may want to do it every day. You may want to do it by season. You may want to do it by holiday or by quarter, January, February, March. There's a million ways to do even just this way. So please, please, please go check out Susan's videos and her flip throughs. Make sure to like her video and share it with a friend who you think would be interested in it as well, because we can all learn a thing or two. And she's got some incredible layouts. Not only does she have a great idea and how she does this, but she's got a solid handle on the basic elements of design, good elements of design. Her pages are balanced and varied, and they're very, very well done. They have a focal point, they have interest and variety, and they all, even though they're all different, they all go together. I can't say enough good things about this lady's work. Just love her journals. So go check them out. Let me know what you think. Go over to Patreon, get your free numbers. If you want to do something like this, or if you think the numbers would be fun for your other projects, they're there free for the taking. You don't have to be a Patreon to get the free numbers. Check out the iced coffee in the coffee collection on my Etsy store. I'm very excited about that. I can see me using that on all kinds of projects because I do like things to matchy-matchy, coordinate, go together well. And I love coffee stained stuff, so I think it'll be a great addition to my toolbox. Until we meet again, you have a lovely crafty day. Go love up those little four-legged beastlies. And I'll take it to the lake. Out for now.